Tony Campos, bassist of Asesino, also bassist for, let me say just my memory, Static X, Max Calavera, Brujeria.
Nope.
No? Oh.
Nope, never played with Brujeria.
Well,
I jammed with them at a rehearsal once, but that's it. I've never done any shows with Brujeria.
Attica 7, Prong, and Ministry. And then there's also one Bucket of Satan 666 or something like that. Is that a Buck?
Buck Satan and the 666 Shooters.
I tried so hard.
I did that record, yeah.
So
I also played in Possess, speaking of Satan and 666. I also played with Possessed. That was cool.
Attica 7, Prong.
Attica 7, yeah.
Ministry.
I
get them all?
I even have a hard time.
So, what keeps you going? I mean, you've been playing for, I'd say, more than 13 years?
Closer to 20.
20 years, that's okay. Professionally.
Closer to 20 professionally, yeah.
But you haven't had a job in 13 years. I heard that on an interview.
I haven't had a real job, yeah, no, thank God. Because if it wasn't for this, I'm like, at this point, I couldn't get a job at McDonald's if I wanted to. I mean, this is it. This is all I know how to fucking do,
What keeps you going?
Having a mortgage to pay? No. No, this is what I love to do, and, I've been really lucky that, ever since Static fell apart, like most of the gigs I've gotten have been with bands and people that I would have chopped my left nut off to play with, like people that inspired me and made me the musician I am today, and, when your heroes ask you to play in their bands, it's kind of hard not to say, not to say no. So
you played in a couple of bands, kind of, I would say simultaneously or within the same year, like Prong, Ministry, Attica 7. How do you
I like to switch gears?
Yeah, switch gears and differentiate, and not fuck up, and not play the wrong song at the wrong time.
It can be a challenge sometimes,
Sure.
But every band and every organization has their own, ways of doing things, so once you get in the situation, it's easier to change gears because they do things differently, Like last year I did, most of the year I was playing with Max and Igor Cavalera doing the Roots thing, and then they took all of October off, and it just so happened that Ministry wanted to tour in October, so I was like, yeah, sign me up, and I went and did that, and
last year.
Yeah, last year.
I saw your post.
Yeah.
So
I was
cool.
like, oh yeah, I'm playing it. I'm so bad at the social media thing, I was
by the way, I'm playing in this band.
Yeah, it was like the day of the show, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should post something, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in Ministry again, check it out.
I guess my question, is like, as a professional musician, to give advice to other musicians, how do you switch those gears, and like what keeps you in the zone?
I don't know. It's just, like for me, luckily, the bands I have to switch gears for are, bands that I grew up listening to and music that that directly influenced, the kind of musician I am today. So, it's almost like just throwing on another record for me, because it's just like, oh yeah, I know this song and I want that one, and so
I get it.
It's just really natural,
What one thing do all these bands have in common? Because
they're all bands that, for the most part, they're all bands that, like I said, I would have chopped my left nut off to play with.
Sure.
So yeah, it's kind of like this full circle moment happening again and again, because I keep playing with bands that I loved, when I was coming up, so.
All right, so tonight we're going to see Asesino. You're playing here at the Slide Bar. Death metal grindcore band that was that you're the vocalist for, and also the bassist. It started off as Dino's Gino Cazares side project. How did
it was a side project of a side project.
Okay.
The idea was because when this thing came up, and it was actually Dino brought it up to me while Static X was opening for Fear Factory at the end of 1999, I believe. Mm-hmm. And the idea was that all the members of Brujeria were going to do solo records, and Asesino, which is Dino's character in Brujeria, was going to do the first one. And so he asked me, and on that tour, he would bring me up towards the end of the Fear Factory set, and we'd play Angel of Death, and I would sing it. And so after doing that for the rest of the tour, he was like, hey, I'm going to do this record. I want you to come sing on it. And originally I was just gonna sing, and Paul Gray from Slipknot was gonna play bass on it. And then I don't know what happened. He couldn't do it, and I was already there at the studio. So I was like, I'll do it. I'll play bass too. So,
that's badass.
Yeah. And so after we did the record, we had so much fun doing the record. I was like, well, let's do some shows. And we did a couple shows. At the time, Raymond Herrera was still in the band. And we did a couple shows at Raymond, and then the whole split with Fear Factory happened. And hey, what's up? And then so we needed a drummer, and I was like, I know the guy. And I've known Emilio since the mid '80s, back the old LA underground death metal scene, and he was the fucking baddest drummer in the scene. And I was like, so I know the guy, so I called him up, and we had a tour opening for Static X, and I was doing double duty. And so halfway through the tour, just still recording?
Yeah, it's awesome.
So halfway through the tour, Asesino jumped on, and so the first gig I ever did with Emilio, I'd never rehearsed them, I'd never jammed with them, so he just came in cold and nailed it.
And you guys killed it. So is this why? So you kind of gave me the reason why Dino calls it Asesino, the extreme new version of Brujeria.
Yeah, it was. It started off as a side project of Brujeria, and then just kind of developed a life of its own.
It's like, what is it, 18 years later, kind of? Are you guys still kind of that new version, or how have you guys grown together as a band?
With it being a side project, it's hard to, make it progress, because we only do it when we all have time to do it, So we're not doing other things. Dina's been doing Fear Factory, and I've been running around with the Cazares and
multiple
Ministry
bands,
so
all right.
But right now we've got time off, so we're like, let's do some shows.
And you got more dates than just this one.
Actually, because for the past 3-4 years, I think we've only done a show a year. So I was kind of my joke on. I actually posted something on Facebook today.
I know, I did my research.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, first show of the year. Actually, we're playing more than one show this year. I promise. So yeah, we got a couple more shows, in the next month, couple months coming up. So.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm actually super intrigued about Asesino and the storyline. Is it a book, a story you guys made up? So the thing is about following this assassin who kills for a living, and he also has to plot it, stalk people, murder them, and you kind of write about that's your baseline. Did you come up with this? Or?
Yeah, well, it was Dino's idea to develop a plot around his character Asesino, and on the first record, it was I'd say about a third of the songs were about his character and just different assassinations that he had to go do. And then the last song on the record is about when he's caught and he's confessing all his crimes.
So cool.
And at the end of the song, he's like, I don't give a fuck. Throw me in the chair. And at the end of the song, they fucking electrocute him. And so the second record, that's the first album.
Yeah, okay.
Corridos Muerte. And then the second record starts out
Cristo
with Cristo Satanico.
All
Yeah.
right, perfect. Just when y'all mejor de vida.
Close.
Tried.
Yeah, Satanic Christ.
He escapes. I know your whole story.
Well,
I love it.
He makes a deal with the devil, and comes back, and throughout the record he kills basically everyone who betrayed him, and at the end of the record he kills the main boss who he used to work for that betrayed him, and ultimately led to his death. So that's where the story is left off. And,
Yes.
I don't know what we're gonna see next.
You know, because you've been trying to pick up La Segunda Venida
Yeah.
since 2013.
Yeah, I
and
know,
now
we've
it's
been talking about it.
2018.
Yeah, I know.
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the storyline's awesome. Will it
Yeah.
change? Will it remain the same?
I mean, you know, it'll still cover all the, Satan, death, rape, murder, all the classic
Perversion?
all the perversion, all the classic comedy genres,
So the priest is evil. Asesino's evil.
Yeah, the priest was one of the guys that betrayed Asesino, and so he ended up dying in one of the songs.
You guys could write a book, a comic,
Yeah,
and I'll be your publicist.
right.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, let's try doing some shows first.
Yeah, do some shows. I'm totally just like it's so such a cool story and awesome
It's fun. I have a good
idea.
time.
And I don't know if you've announced this before, but Maldito X. I always thought Maldito means bad little boy. But I know it's not. Damn.
Although I've known little boys that deserve that moniker, but no, it literally translated it just means damned.
The damned. Well, you're
damned,
obviously not. All right, cool. So I know that you guys. Well, I haven't witnessed yet, but tonight I'm gonna witness that you guys play covers. Hey.
I saw you fellas going in. What's up, Campos? How's everything, bro?
Good, man.
Is Dino here?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
out
cool.
in the patio.
What's up, Raquel? How's your interview
Hi.
go?
Or it's going right now.
Oh, okay, I'm
you're
sorry.
You're gonna be on my podcast. So, what surprises do you have tonight? Raining Blood or Angel of Death? Or something new? Are you gonna change it up a little?
Neither of those are on the set list, so.
Okay. Well, why
Yeah,
not? No Slayer?
If Dino decides to start the song, then I'll go in it, so.
Okay.
But that's basically how this whole thing started.
Sure.
Just us playing Angel of Death, and 18 years later, here we are still doing this crap,
That's awesome, but you love it.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of fun with this, and I'd love to do more with it. It's just like I said, it's a side project, so it's whenever we have time to do it,
And I should know this, but don't kill me if I get it wrong. Like Fear Factory, what's the works for Fear Factory? Is that Dino has his own project going, but
yeah, I don't know what's going on with them with Fear Factory. I know from what Dino's told me, the record's done, so they're just kind of sitting on it and waiting for all this legal stuff to blow over. So in the meantime, at the beginning of last year, Dino just told me, hey, look, we're in the middle of all this shit. We're not going to work for a while, so go find work somewhere else.
that shouldn't be too hard for you.
Well, luckily, they called me, the Cazares called me, and they're like, we're going to be doing this Roots thing, and Johnny Chow can't do it. And I'm like, sign me up. I'm in.
When does that start?
Oh, that was last year.
Oh, that was last year. Okay,
That was last
cool.
year. This
All right,
year,
yeah.
this year's Ministry. Because this year, Max is doing Soulfly. They were just in town recording a new record. So I don't know when that's supposed to come out, but they're going to be touring. I think they're probably on tour right now in Canada as I speak.
I was trying to stay on top of all these bands. Thought I did a pretty good job. But so how about seeing social media change throughout the years since when you first started, I guess in 1994, how would you give any advice to just musicians staying on top of things, or how you've seen it change? Is it,
I don't know.
do you see it helping bands or going against them?
I don't know, because like I said, I'm horrible at this whole fucking social media shit. somebody like people always tell me, man, why aren't you on Snapchat or why aren't you on Twitter? And they're like, I don't know, I can barely handle the fucking Facebook thing, you know. And like with what is it, Snapchat? That's like all
it's
about
annoying.
Pictures, right?
Yeah, it's mostly for girls taking selfies, looking cute and sexy.
Well, you know, like that's the other thing. I'm like horrible with fucking pictures.
Sure.
Like I'll be hanging out somewhere and then, you know, oh, that was cool, man. Oh, I should have took a picture. You know, it's like I always think about it after. You know, so it's like.
I did see your one attempt, which I thought was really badass. It was a day in the life of Tony Campos, and you have like one post, and you have your own YouTube channel. Like that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Was that a spoof or was that real?
No, that was out when I was out with Fear Factory in Europe. I think 2016, and the video guy that they hire over there, Sebastian. We had a day off. And we were just sitting on the bus all day, and so I do what I normally do when I've got nothing else to do. I sit and play video games, and that's all I did.
That's what you did. You weren't answering emails.
Yeah, no.
I was watching. I was like, okay, this is an hour of you sitting there.
Yeah,
but
no, that's me playing.
Well, that I mean, if you wanted to do
I was
something,
playing Warhammer or something.
That is cool. Day in the life of a rock star. Day in the life of Tony Campos, bassist.
It's like, what else am I gonna do? You
when
know,
do you
we're in the middle of nowhere. You know, sitting in a parking lot. I'm on the tour bus, and you know.
Are you at that point you don't need to practice anymore?
Well, it depends. Cause like once I'm out on tour and in the gig, then I should have, you know, if I don't know the material by then I'm fucked, you know. So the real work happens before the tour, when you gotta sit down and learn everything. That's, for me, that's the real work, is sitting down and learning all the material. Once I got that down and I'm out on tour, and then it's all cake.
Wow. It just stays in your head. You just remember it.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah, and you know, the more you do rehearsals, and then, well, depending on what band I play in.
Sure.
Because the Cavaliers don't rehearse.
No?
No.
Because it was badass?
I think out of the 3.5 years that I was in Soulfly, I think I only rehearsed with them twice. Actually 2 rehearsals, I think. So,
that's cool. You guys are professionals, so.
Yeah, well, you know.
But up and coming bands, however, when you first started, you were practicing.
Yeah. I mean, with other bands, like, and then on the other extreme side of the spectrum, you know, with Ministry, like the first time I played with them, rehearsals were a month long. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. So you know, everybody, like I said, everybody does things their own way. So, you know, when you get in a different situation, you know, it's just.
Last question: which bands would you say is more difficult to learn? I would think it'd be Ministry, just because, but like difficulty rated from 1 to 10.
You know what? Actually, neither of those. Because technically speaking, the songs aren't that hard to play.
Yeah.
Ministry might have a couple songs that might be a little more intricate arrangement-wise, but technically they're not that difficult to play. The most technical gig I've had was Possessed. Actually,
Possessed?
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They have a lot of really fast, you know, really fast runs up and down, you know. So yeah, that was actually for me, like, you know, the most technically challenging gig I've ever done, and it was great. I loved it.
It's raining. Well, thank you so much, Tony. This is Rockin Raquel, and you know, with Tony Campos, we're gonna go check out Asesino tonight at the Slide Bar.
Yeah, I heard they're good.